Hello and welcome to With Bowl and Spoon, a podcast where we have stimulating conversations with interesting people about a fascinating topic, food. Today, Brett and I are going to tell you about our 10-day trip to Belize, Central America. It was an amazing trip with a lot of experiences that made every day seem like 2 days and everything blurred together. So these talks might seem a little disjointed at times. We did make some recordings while we were there, but it was difficult for a variety of reasons, and I was hoping to talk with some of the folks in Belize, but that turned out to be not so easy, also for a variety of reasons. Anyway, we had a great vacation, and this and the next episode after this, you'll hear all about it. Enjoy. Hi, this is Shelley.
And this is Brett.
And we are going to tell you about our trip to Belize. I would call it epic, but Brett doesn't.
I would call it fantastic. I just feel that epic
great.
it suggests that we were rather more boisterous and ambitious than we were.
Well, it was fantastic. It was an
fantastic.
amazing trip. We kept saying best vacation ever on numerous occasions, which was great.
Well, you kept saying that.
Okay, fine. I kept saying that. And in honor of that, we are drinking rum drinks right now to remember our time.
So,
Takes me back.
to put the fine dressing on it, yes.
Yes. So, we went to Belize in May to celebrate the end of our super crazy pandemic year. And now the way that came about was some friends of ours came over and they said, "Oh, we're going to Belize," and it sounded amazing. And I was like, "Oh, that's great." And they're like, "Yeah, they take the American dollar." And I was like, "Oh, that's great." And they're like, "And English is the official language of the country." And I was like, "Well, that's cool." And then I was like, "Was it expensive?" And they were like, "It's $400 each round trip to fly there, and it's pretty cheap on the ground." And I was like, "I want to go to Belize." And so we made it happen.
To her credit, she even decided to include me.
Yeah, I brought Brett around. Along. We got his passport all sorted.
Oh, jeez, I forgot about that.
That was the whole thing. Okay.
That was
anyway, so Belize was very cool. We stayed for the most part on an island called Key Cocker, which is right there on the Barrier Reef, which is amazing. I'm gonna say amazing like way too many times, but it really was. But we decided to go a couple extra days in the beginning of the trip before our friends arrived, and we went to
mainland,
the inland area. We stayed at the Howler Monkey Preserve in the Howler Monkey Preserve area of the jungle, which was very cool and very hot. We didn't have air conditioning,
and not at all your expected experience of jungle. I mean, kind of weird to be in what was a beautiful, very rustic, rural part of the world, utterly gorgeous, but then also keeping the Pennsylvania for us with actual Mennonites on the same street that we were living on.
Yeah, we heard a little of the history of that afterwards. Yeah, it was interesting, but I guess they had like a whole bunch of Mennonites that moved down there to help.
Well, they're doing mission work for sure. Yeah. But they are doing, but yes, I mean, but it was spectacular. I mean, I know you just those monkeys alone definitely made you aware you are on the edge of the jungle.
Yeah.
And of course the parrots, the endless freaking screeching parrots.
Yeah, we saw a bunch of birds, but the place that we stayed at there was, of course, no cell service out there. If you look at Google Maps, you can't even see, like, there's no street view through the whole country of Belize, which is kind of crazy.
No Google cars allowed, eh?
No. And then, so anyway, the place that we stayed at was called the
Pedestal Monkey Reserve Home.
Yes, and our host, Adrian, was amazing. But one of the most daunting things was when we first got there, he's like, "Okay, we're going out to the middle of nowhere." Well, he didn't say that. He's like, "We're going out to my home," his village. Usually, like, I guess the villages out there are all like family.
That's what we
villages.
learned later, wasn't it? That
yeah.
all those names meant that each of those villages was one family. So
extended
I guess sort of
family, but yeah.
Extended family, so sort of clanning kind of affair. It was pretty interesting. That was fascinating in and of itself.
Yeah.
Although a little sort of bittersweet because you're kind of aware that the COVID had done a number on that nation's infrastructure and so on. So there were farms that were just left fallow, and and some that where people would obviously start small fires and just walk away, and so croplands were just gone. There was there was definitely some sad side to that, and also I don't think we didn't realise that we were coming into a nation that was literally just recovering from this too.
They didn't have the vaccine down there, but we found out after we had been walking around for a day on the street that if you don't wear your mask on the street, they could fine you $500 Belize.
Yep.
And we had no idea, so we were like, oh shit,
that's $250 US in case you were wondering.
But still,
so
a lot of money.
Still a bit of a hiccup.
Yeah. So anyway, but we went there and everybody seemed really cool and really excited for us to be there. And actually, I think they were probably more excited about our dollars, but whatever. It was a really great experience. And our host was really nice. So one of the most exciting things and daunting things was when we first got there, our host took us to a grocery store and said, okay, buy everything you need for the next 2-3 days that you're there. And
everything, water,
so food, including water, food, everything. We did buy rum at the airport, so we were already prepared with rum.
Already covered with rum.
And then so we had to so okay, here's the scenario. You get done, you leave your house at 5 a.m., go to the airport, travel all the way to Belize, 2 flights, 2 airports, 3 airports. It's really hot, you're in a foreign country, you're jet lagged, and then this person says, okay, go into the store that you've never been in before, translate the dollars, and figure out meal planning for the next 3 days, and I'll just be waiting here in the car. No pressure, but get everything you need because there's nothing where you're going. So,
well, in fairness, it's not like, to him, the store was not an alien world. No,
so it's not a big deal. It was really a lot to ask. I know they don't understand it's a lot to ask, but
no, exactly. You go in and it's like you literally have to translate the store for yourself, not labels, but just how it's organized, what things.
Yeah, it was a really big store, so it had everything from there was a little liquor store there in the front where it had all the booze, and then there was the coolers on one side, and then it went through the different types of food, and then on the other end, it was like your Kmart, so it had all of your household goods and
buckets and mops,
backpacks, all the household things you might need. So it was one store for everything. So we had to go into this store and meal plan, and
which apparently I was no help with whatsoever. I did try, listeners. I really did try.
So I'm walking around just looking at everything and then trying to figure out, okay, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast. Those are the meals we're going to have. Well, we're there, so I got to figure out what we're going to have.
But
so I think it worked out pretty well.
It worked out very well.
It was kind of a little bit of a mess because we didn't have the oils or the different things that you might need. I tried to make tortillas and they just stuck to the pan, and it was an electric stove. So there was a learning curve on every end. Yeah, I got that flour. But we did find this really nice, I think it was local, it was Sandy's Meats or something, and it was packaged taco meat already seasoned.
Lovely, just
pork.
Beautifully, obviously low and slow cooked pulled pork, and that sauce really was very, very good. It was not what you expected, but it was, I guess it's just a practicality that we don't visit ourselves usually. So,
because we just figure we have to make it from scratch, but it was right there. And I also found back bacon, and we got some buns and had little
and of course our first introduction to the Marie Sharp's hot sauce that you were excited to find.
Yes, and I made some guacamole because of course avocados, and it was I put a little Marie Sharp's hot sauce in there. Now Marie Sharp is the darling of Belize. She started making hot sauce in her kitchen, and now it's this international phenomena. And she, the factory is on Hummingbird Highway, which I want to visit someday. It's in the inland of Belize. But yeah, so we got all the stuff that we needed. We ended up getting the mesa flour, taco meat. I got a jar of pickled jalapenos, which we never
ate. No, but we did give them to Patricia.
I got a few of the Marie Sharp's hot sauces, which was great. Avocados, bananas, limes. We got coffee. I had my eyes open to instant coffee. Brett, I don't know, Brett, you seemed to like it while we were there, but I really thought it was great. And it got us through. I mean, I wasn't going to go through making coffee and trying to drip
Hell no.
coffee or French press or whatever. So I just got the instant and thought, well, it'll do us for a couple days. And it was amazing.
In fairness, I do wish we'd made a note of the name, because it was like Nescafe,
yeah.
But it had a name, and it really was. It was instant coffee. Not fooling myself for a moment. It was instant coffee.
Yeah.
And
that's what I just said.
That was just, and for the convenience of it, brilliant. But it was surprisingly good for instant coffee. No, I mean, I grew up with that stuff.
Yeah, it was good. It got us through. But
I don't think there were cafetières in England until I left England.
So we got everything, and there wasn't a lot of selection in the fruit there. So I did get some avocados and some limes and some I didn't get mangoes, bananas. They were like it was like half a dozen bananas for like 50 cents or a quarter or something. It was insane. Anyway, so we get done at the grocery store, and then we're driving down the street, or we're driving down through the country roads, and I was like,
literally
wait, there's the fruit stand, and he's like, oh, you want to stop at a fruit stand? Okay, there's another one up here that's even bigger, and so we stopped at that one. And we got some mangoes, because they have like 52 different varieties of mangoes there. And I think I got some more limes, because I was like, you can never have enough limes.
And some oranges, again.
Oranges, which weren't that great. They weren't very juicy.
I know, I was a little bit saddened by that, because I felt like I was excited at the beginning because they were ugly oranges. Like do you remember when we got when we were given that gift from Florida?
Yeah.
And it turns up and it's ugly ass oranges. And you're like, what's this going to be? And then, of course, they're the best damned oranges you've ever eaten.
Yeah.
And so I was really hopeful for that with this, but they really were kind of weirdly dry and mealy. It was not weird. It was not good. But then again, oranges.
Yeah.
We were there for the mangoes and
also
the
what do you call it? The piece de resistance.
Mais oui, Mansell.
Was the cashew fruit.
Yes.
Oh my God. Cashews actually grow at the bottom of a fruit that is hanging on a tree.
That is weird. I mean, we learned here that the nut itself in the state, when you harvest it, is toxic. Yeah. You cannot eat it. And it's just bizarre to me to see this thing that looks like a garden gnome imagined by the surrealist movement, with either a yellow or a red hat, and the nut is on the outside. It's almost suggests like that the nut is even toxic to the fruit that it comes from.
Oh, because it doesn't grow inside. I get you. Yeah.
Weird. Very, very strange. So that was really wonderful to see.
It was quite an experience. Yeah, so we're driving there, and I said to the guy, like, I hear about cashew fruits. He's like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky. They're ripe while you're here. And I was like, really? And he was like, yes, they're only ripe for like a week at a time, and maybe a couple times a year or something.
I felt like it was a couple of times
and a year. I was just like, whoa, this is like a foodie dream. I get to eat cashew fruit and pick it off the tree. And we sure did. We ate a bunch of cashew fruit. And it's, I'll put some pictures on my website.
Successfully, but...
oh, no. I believe we ingested them well. We may have ingested too much of them, but it didn't matter. They're very liquidy.
Oh, yeah.
They're real liquidy, so there's lots of juice. It's amazing. But then the flavor is really unique. And it's super fibrous, so like you have to chew a lot to try and get to swallow it. And we saw somebody eating it that they just like gnawed on it and then spit it out. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. But the flavor is amazing, and also it makes your mouth squeaky. I'm gonna play a clip of a recording we did from the actual jungle about
that. Enjoy.
The cashew fruit is really, I don't know if it's tanniny or it's like, it makes your mouth squeaky. It's a little bitter.
The flavor is really familiar. I can't put
It's real fibrous.
It's super, super fibrous.
Really fibrous.
But what is that flavor that just tastes so familiar?
It's kind of like a lychee. Is it lychee?
Maybe. I mean, even that
kind of mango.
Sort of.
No, not mango. It's sweet and watery.
Yeah, that's that for sure. But it's even that sort of a slightly acerbic, that sort of dry thing that sits behind it.
Yep.
Is really familiar. It's like we've come across this with another fruit, and I can't place it.
I don't know either.
But you're getting the same familiar I am, right?
It's slightly sweet, but it's mostly about the moisture, and we are in Belize, so it's hot, and you need liquid, and this is good. But the cashew fruit is something I never even thought about because it's so fragile. We never get it. This stuff barely transported from down the street to here after we picked it off the tree. Yeah, the skins you kind of... I don't know if it's the skins or if it's... So, it's got a... What fruit is this like? The skin. It's edible, but it's not like an apple because it's all squishy. Like a...
Pear-like, maybe? It seems even heavier than that.
It's the flesh is real... Oh, look at that. Okay, so the skin comes off pretty easily.
I don't imagine that changes much in the fibre.
It does not. You are right. Maybe the red ones are different. So there's red cashew fruit and yellow cashew fruit.
At least.
It was really great to be able to try the cashew fruits. And one of the things that we did a lot while we were there was drink rum drinks, which we're drinking now. It was hot.
It was such an effort, but
and it was amazing though. It was really amazing to be there and be in this environment. And we didn't choose to have the air conditioning because we're like, yeah, we can deal without air conditioning. But it was like particularly hot there. It was like 91 degrees.
It was hot and jungle humid, so we shouldn't have been too surprised. One thing I did want to mention or remember that surprised me. Going into these grocery stores there, out in the wilderness, but there and on the island too, eggs. Eggs were just randomly, at the end of a shelf, and we're hot as balls. It is hot. But these eggs are right there, and there is no expectation that you have to take X number. You can buy one egg if you want to, but you just literally take a bag and bring up the 4 or 5 eggs that you want. They charge you accordingly, and obviously then
they weren't in cartons.
No cartons, no refrigeration, which of course means they must be just straight from the chicken.
They're fresh.
Boom,
we don't refrigerate our eggs either, so we were used to that. But in another country, especially a hot country, that was unique. Yeah.
That staggered me, and it was very good, and so that really was quite a big surprise. That, and also then finding that canned meat shelf, which ran the entire depth of the store, and from corned beef to Spam and various Spam knockoffs and so on. It was
crazy,
bizarre, but
we did not buy any.
I wasn't allowed to, dear listeners. I was not allowed to try knockoff Spam.
I've never been a big fan of
I would love to report.
Meat. I don't know. It's a weirdness of mine.
No, it's not. It's a perfectly sensible protocol. But of course, obviously, a different need for a different environment.
Yep.
So,
that's true.
Places where canning makes sense.
Yeah. No, it was good. But when we went out to visit the howler monkeys the next day,
oh, so good.
We were walking around the jungle too with our host. What was his name?
Was it Robert?
Robert. That sounds right. Anyway, he took us around and he introduced us to a bunch of stuff. He was very knowledgeable about the jungle and the howler monkeys, and he actually got the howler monkeys to come down, and we fed the howler monkeys with some leaves,
and
which is
really
cool.
That was just like some giant weed that...
It was a jungle plant, I don't know, that they
particularly
liked, which was
came
great.
back with it, and they love this giant leafy thing.
But here's the thing, when we were walking into the jungle to go to this place where the howler monkeys will come over and hang out with us, there was this woman sitting there, and she had 2 5-gallon buckets that were just full of cashew nuts. And he was telling us that the howler monkeys eat the fruit. and then drop the nuts. So it's this perfect combination. Yeah, this perfect symbiosis of a human and howler monkey interaction. So you don't have to climb the tree. The nut just ends up on the ground. And then she was picking them up and she put them in these big buckets, and she was just like resting before she took those buckets back home.
I mean,
and then the processing of the cashews from there is like you have to dry them, and I guess they ferment a little bit. And then you have to roast them, and then you have to shell them, and then you have to roast them again. So there's like all these different processes to make it not toxic.
I had no idea. One of my favorite nibbles, and apparently it's out there to kill me.
And that's why they're so expensive, because there's such a process. One of the things that we did really enjoy was in the jungle when we found it was Robert introduced us to the rose apple, which is a little hollow fruit, probably about the size of a large grape.
Well, it's about an inch and a half across.
Yep. And
it is the most aptly named.
Maybe it was a little bit bigger, yeah.
It was supremely aptly named.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it was
really
crunchy like an apple, but there was a nut in the middle, or was it hollow?
No, it was hollow. You just ate the fruit, I feel, and it was, but it really did. It tasted of apple. It was more crisp than an apple.
It was crispy, yeah.
But then it tasted like an apple, just saturated in rose water.
Yeah.
It was
really lovely.
Quite lovely. Yeah, I could have eaten some more of those.
Yeah. We meant to find the rose apple, like, jam or something. Also, like, why isn't there cashew jam? Is that cashew fruit? See, I'll have to go there and spend more time and make some stuff, because it was really amazing.
See, listeners, we have to go back. Oh, what a tragedy.
All right, well, we're going to take a break right now, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the rest of our time in the Pedestal Monkey Reserve Home in the Jungle Edge, and then we'll talk about the island. We'll see you after this.
Or at least what we remember of it.
Okay, welcome back. I think we covered a lot of things from the inland
shopping.
Experience. The rose apples, and it was also mango season while we were there, and apparently there are 52 different varieties of mangoes. So that's kind of crazy. I don't know, we probably tried like 6. I don't know, there were just mangoes, random mangoes.
Yeah, I think we got plenty of mangoes. We didn't readily identify some of the varieties. I think the sad one was we finally found the storied black mangoes, which weren't black, and they did not ripen in time for us to leave. So we did not get to try those in the end.
It was just really somebody sad. Had a sign out and a bunch of, and they looked like something else. Like I didn't think they were mangoes until we pulled over.
Smaller, dark green mangoes. They definitively.
I think I might have thought they were like limes or something. And so we pulled over to see. There's fruit for sale on the side of the road. We're gonna go see, and the side of the road was a sand road. Well, we were riding our bikes, we pulled our bikes over. So it's a whole different scenario that you're imagining now than when I just said it a second ago. Anyway.
Yeah. Different part of the trip.
And that was on the island. So yeah, let's go back to the mainland for a second. I wanted to mention about the Belican beer. Belican is the national beer of Belize.
Yep. Absolutely.
We didn't drink any other beer while we were there.
That is not
Did we?
true.
What did we drink?
Well, the 505 was not a Belican beer, if memory serves.
Wasn't it? That might have been another one. Okay, that was like a lager.
It was a very, very, very decent lager.
It really was, yeah. And we had that with lime because it was really hot, and that's what you do, cold beer with lime there.
You were particularly salty. You loved the Belican beer. You really did enjoy it. But I do remember that you were particularly salty because of the weight of the bottle.
Oh my God, yes. And the irony is that when coming home, we got these koozies
You should start by saying what the problem was with the...
Okay, so the Belican beer... Right, sorry. Getting ahead of myself. So the Belican beer bottles were pretty thick glass. Don't know why they're particularly thick, but they're pretty hardy, and they are reused. So that might be why, because you can trade them in for... You get
working deposit.
Deposit back, yeah.
But yes, I mean, just a small bottle, but yes, it was definitely heavier. And the irony was, you would invariably think you've still got, a couple of sips left in your bottle. but it was dry.
You're tipping it back and you're like, what's up?
This discovery was most regularly made as my wife would share her beer with me and hand me the bottle, and I would discover it was dry. And so basically I was just meant to go and find a home for the empty. But
he's so lying. It's not true. Maybe a couple times, but not every time. But yeah, so we ended up buying some beer koozies, which are really cool, that say Belican Beer, Belize, Central America.
All about the souvenirs.
And it's a great koozie. It's particularly thick and it's heavy. And so when you put it on your can, it gives you that same feeling of having more beer in your can than you actually do. So I'm reliving my experience in Belize all over again every time I drink a beer with my Belize koozie now, my Belican beer koozie.
It's true. And honestly, you'll be happy to know that the cynical husband did indeed get out a scale and weigh different koozies. And proved her point. Yep. There a difference of like 3/4 of an ounce. Given that the Belican one weighs an ounce, not insignificant. So
yeah. So you think you have an ounce of beer left, and you're like, oh no, it's just my koozie.
Oh no. Well,
but
you need another beer,
so Belican makes their main beer is a lager. Is it a lager or is it pilsner? Or is it an ale? I can't remember.
It wasn't a lager camp. I'm going to put it in. I mean, it's. But
they also make a stout.
Oh,
which we didn't have the regular stout, but we did get the chocolate stout. And oh my god, they make it with like plain chocolate, like cacao nubs or something. And like the first one, we didn't know to like shake it up or anything.
Yeah.
So we were just drinking it, and then in the end, there was like the little.
It suddenly became a little viscous and thick
thing at the end, and you're like, I got little bits of whatever, like yeast or whatever. No, it was chocolate.
Exactly. So just as you're in the moment of like, oh my god, what is this? There's the other part of your mouth that's like, hold on, boys, this is a good thing, and it's right up really good chocolate. That was a
it was so good.
What a pleasant surprise.
So excited and happy when we're sitting on the deck. It's really freaking hot. And we're drinking this beer, this stout. It's cold, but I think it had warmed up by that point. We didn't have koozies. I didn't think the country had koozies at that time. And then just that little bit of chocolate. I was like, oh my god, this is so amazing. So anyway.
But then it was gone and we had to return to rum drinks.
So we were on the mainland we arrived on Wednesday and we were there until Friday at like noon. And so most of the time it was just us on our own, except for we did book the Howler Monkey tour to go and feed the monkeys, and we hung out with Robert. Patricia gave us a ride to the Howler Monkey center. Patricia was really lovely, and it turns out she lives like right down the street. As we were walking around that evening, we walked by her house, and she waved us down. She's like, hey, and she came out and she brought us a bottle of blackberry wine.
And we have to clarify that another thing that's, I guess, an annual harvest favorite, but it's not blackberries as we understand them. I don't think we ever really defined what they are.
But I can tell you they're sweet. Or there was a lot of sugar added to this. Whatever. It was a really sweet wine. We drank a little bit of it. We took it to the island. We ended up giving it to our host there because we just couldn't
finish
drink it. It was so sweet.
It was so sweet.
But it was really nice of her to give us this wine.
But also nicely, we were joking about there being all the coconuts, even here on the mainland, all these coconuts everywhere and just falling randomly, and us without a machete to get into them.
Oh, yeah.
And so she just calls up number one son and has him come out and hack it off, and we're drinking fresh coconuts right there in the jungle, and then splitting that open and eating that super soft fruit.
Yeah, it was nice.
So good.
Anyway, so yeah, it was a really great time in the inland, and thank you to Adrian and Patricia and Robert for just such great hospitality, and Isabella Bank for your amazing hospitality. It was really great.
And I am hoping that my lovely wife here will remember to put up pictures of some of the particular monkeys that we met.
Yep, I totally will. There was a baby! Oh my god! I'm going to get
Well, now you've spoiled the surprise.
Was it really spoiling it? You got to see the pictures. It's cuter than you think. I'm just saying. Okay, thanks for listening to part 1 of our trip to Belize. We'll get some pictures online and on social media so you'll get to see images of all the things we talked about here. With Bowl and Spoon is produced and edited by me, Shelly Danko Day. Original theme song was written and produced by Paula Breeze. Again, a great big thank you to Adrian, Patricia, Robert, and the entire village of Isabella Bank, Belize. You can listen to With Bowl and Spoon on Anchor, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Radio Public, Breaker, Google Podcasts, and now on Apple Podcasts. Follow us and send us questions or messages on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at With Bowl and Spoon. Thanks for listening. See you next time.